Hi, 6th grade drummers, it's Mr. Y, obviously. Got a little assignment for you this week. In place of doing the keep it green thing like the rest of the guys are doing for their long note stuff, what I'd like you to work on this week is on the G minor scale sheet that we were working on just before we were so rudely interrupted. I'm going to have you guys really focus on number 3 and number 4. Number 3 is fairly easy. I'm going to go over it in just a minute. Number 4 is the one with the weird accents, and I'm going to kind of take you through that one too. What I'd like you to shoot for this week, please, is I'd like you to shoot for getting number 3 and number 4 up to 80 beats per minute. That's 80 beats per minute. You know, if you can't do that first, of course, that's great. Work down slower first. If you need to go down to 40 or 60 or something like that and get it really good at that speed. And then remember, just notch your metronome up just a little bit. If you do it a little bit every day, gradually it will get up to 80 beats per minute. That's what we're shooting for this week. And don't worry about both hands right now either. Just work on what I would call your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, for instance, so I'm going to do my right hand this week. Work it up so that you can do the whole thing right-handed at 80 beats per minute. Okay? Number 3 does not have any sticking written into it, but you should alternate the sticks. Doesn't matter what hand you start with. Like I said, this week we probably should start with the right, or if you're left-handed, if you want to start with your left and do that the first week, that's okay too. But we are going to do them both eventually. So for number 3, the whole deal is, as you can see on the sheet, we've got some accents. Okay. You'll notice that I'm not using a drum pad here. That's because I got caught at home without a drum pad when we were so rudely interrupted. I am going to be using this table right here as a drum pad. Please do not do something like that unless you have your parents' permission. You should, I believe all have drum pads at home. If you don't, you're going to have to find something to play on, obviously. But like I said, make sure you ask your parents' permission first. Okay? For number 3, we have accents. Like I said, we're going to start this week with the right hand, or if you're dominant with left and you want to start with left, that's okay. But I'm going to start with right. You can see that the accents are on the first part of the 16th notes at first. So we have 1E and 2E and 3E and 4 and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4, 1E and 2E and 3E and 4 and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4. You'll notice, by the way, I am always alternating my hands. That's what you need to do in this one. Second line, 1E and 2 and 3E and 4 and 1E and 2 and 3E and 4, 1E and 2 and 3E and 4 and 1E and 2E and 3 and 4. You'll also notice when you see me preparing for an accent, I will pick my stick up a lot farther than before. Usually I'm playing down here, but when I'm doing an accent, I'm picking it up a lot farther. Even if you're not doing actually the playing, you can tell where the accents are. That was the whole first line with the accents, okay? That's a great exercise to do, by the way. It's a lot harder to do that way. If you can do it that way, you certainly can do it with the drum pad. Okay, so like I said, work that up till it's about 80 beats per minute. That's going to be about like this. Second line. And you can hear how much of a difference there is between the regular notes and the accents. Okay, that's what we're going for. Make a real big difference between the two. Okay, so for number 4, then we have, like I said, we're going to do the right-handed version of this week. If you want to do left-handed because you're dominant with left hand and that's easier, that's fine for this week. Next week we are going to be doing the other version. But I'd rather have you get it good on your dominant hand first. Then we can work on getting it good in the other hand. We worked on this one a little bit beforehand. Remember, you were always alternating strokes for this one too. This one, the accents, they're not really accents. They come on the rim shots. Now, I don't have a drum pad here. So I'm going to use this book over here as my right-hand rim shot, and this book over here as my left-hand rim shot. Really, it doesn't matter what you use as long as the sound is different. Okay, I've got for my actual drum, then I've got for right hand and for left hand. They're roughly equivalent because I'm using books for both of those. I'm just hitting books. Okay? So for number 4, like I said, you're going to do it really, really slow at first. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1, 2, 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2, 3E and 4E and 1, 2, 3E, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1E, 1E and 2E obviously that's the hardest one in the whole piece. But when you look at the pattern, it's really not all that hard. You have right, left, then a rim shot with the right. Then you go back to left, right, rim shot with the left. And it alternates that way. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. To me, the hardest part of that is stopping so abruptly at the end. You have that really abrupt stop. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And you stop right there. Again, when you work this up to 80 beats a minute, it's going to sound something like this. Number 4. Okay, something like that. Again, you're shooting for 80 beats a minute this week with your dominant hand for number 3 and number 4. And that's going to kind of cover the first half of your assignment this week. Remember the 4 things we do, long notes, scales. This is going to cover both of those for you guys. So, and then I'll be shooting you the second half of your assignment probably later next week. But for now, work on this. Have a good time. I hope you and your families are all safe and healthy at home. Good luck.